Now, if talking about cooperation among African countries, if you look at the terrain now carefully, or majority of the African countries are being aligned to these European countries or the West. Ghana, predominantly, we are aligned to the United Kingdom and America. Nigeria is also aligned to the United Kingdom and also America. Anytime Africa decides to unite, you see the West coming in to actually diffuse that unity. What else do you think Africa can do to actually call off the influence of the West and actually become united?
Yeah, first of all, yeah, Andre.
May I, thank you, may I answer this question? I think the international situation is changing. The international architecture is changing. In the past, Africa was totally dependent, African states were totally dependent of the West, of France, of Britain mainly, and other Western countries, of the US and Germany and so on. But we are at the moment in a development out of the unilateral world, where the US mainly could, and France could dictate everything in the world. They could go to war in Iraq, for example, or in Libya without any consequences. And now it is changing. Other powers are coming. China is coming. India is coming. Russia, and so the international architecture is changing. We are coming into a multipolar world, not a unipolar, but a multipolar world. And that is a background why more and more African states, they want to choose. They don't want to be dictated by, for example, by France, like in Nigeria. They have other possibilities. And I think what we are seeing in Western Africa and French Africa, in Niger, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, comes out of this changing international balance of forces. And I don't think that what happened now, for example, in Niger, in Mali, this was not possible 20 years ago, because they were too dependent. But now right. There's more you understand, more space for sovereignty.
Now, but based on what you just told me, if you look at the big African countries like Nigeria, like Ghana, like Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, these big nations, actually the big Anglophone nations, instead of partnering with their brothers and sisters in the French-speaking African countries, they rather support the West by actually coming together saying they want to send the military to go to Niger, either to go to Burkina Faso, to fight the army there, to reinstate what they call democratically elected leaders. What do you make of that?
I don't know. You don't better the situation in your country, in Ghana or in Nigeria or Ivory Coast. But what I read, for example, in Nigeria, the president, he's a new president, Tinubu, he went to the parliament, to the Senate. And the Senate said, no, we are against military intervention. We are against the sanctions. So it seems that there is as well different views, opposition to this idea of ECOWAS and of Nigeria to make a military intervention. I don't know exactly what is in Ghana, but what I read, for example, in Nigeria is that they were not agreeing with the president. And but I don't know. You know better the situation there. It's mainly now the French-speaking countries, but I think the situation is in the English-speaking country is not so much different.